USFL and XFL joined forces, and now we have the UFL, which is now the Super League of Spring Football for our Spring League football fans. The merger draft has taken place, and the start of free agency has also happened. So team rosters are kind of getting finalized and figured out before we go into the official kickoff of preseason. So we thought it would be a good idea to rank the roster currently and give you guys our thoughts on who are the favorites to win the championship and who have holes that they need to figure out quickly before the kickoff starts here in March.
All right, kicking it off with number 8, the San Antonio Brahmas are going to be starting this list off. San Antonio has taken the controversial figure from the XFL last year in Quinton Dormady, and that is who I believe will be taking the helm of this team. While he had a good first game starting in the XFL, throwing multiple touchdowns last season, he quickly tapered off at the end of the year. And that leads me to question how capable he really is, especially with the talent pools meshing and these defenses bolstering up. They're going to have a very nicely bolstered offensive line, though, after going for Trey Botts and Darion Parker early in the draft. The question still stands, though, what will Quinton Dormady do with it? It's very clear that head coach Wade Phillips is going to try and do what he did with the Roughnecks last year, and that is leaning on the run game with a heavy-hitting defense. And that's something I've taken through his draft picks and the recent draft here. They're going to be a little bit less talented with their supporting cast than the Roughnecks last year, though. So we're going to be keeping the San Antonio Brahmas here at number 8, though rooting for Kalen Ballage.
Coming in 7th place, we have the St. Louis Battlehawks. And before St. Louis fans destroy me in the comment section, listen to what I have to say. Now, I feel like these rankings can quickly change. I love the coach. Anthony Becht is one of the best coaches in spring football, and I think they have a good roster for the most part. My only problem is I don't like their current QB situation. Now, things could change quickly, and I know AJ McCarron's rumored to possibly be coming back. They haven't taken a guy, so maybe they're in talks with a guy that we just don't know about, but I don't like what they have on the roster. Nick Tino and Manny Wilkins don't give me confidence. The good news is they are in a great position to pick up the best free agents after the NFL season ends, in a sense, because they don't really have any QB competition. So if I'm a good QB, this is the place to go. You get to play in a dome. You have a lot of elite talent around you. So there is that option to sign some guy and shoot up these rankings. I like the addition of Max Borghi, who is a fun running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield and kind of give them some dynamic things out of the backfield. Hakeem Butler is returning and is an elite wide receiver in spring football. They also got Sea Dragons legend Ja'Cour Pearson making the receiving group, in my opinion, one of the best in the league. Also, rumor is they just signed Darius Shepard, so going to be an elite wide receiver core. As long as they have a guy who can throw him the ball, this team will be much better than their ranking. But until they get that QB, they're going to come in at number 7.
Coming in at number 6, the Panthers. Coming into this season, they have a high bar to beat, with the Lions winning their first playoff game and breaking the very long dry streak in Detroit here. I think fans will only be satisfied with a championship in the spring to cap it off, something that will be hard to come by without a quarterback. That's not to say they fall into the same boat as the two teams below them, as they signed a very hype prospect for the spring leagues and practice squad journeyman Danny Etling. But I don't think we've seen enough of Etling recently to trust him, even with Corey Coleman and Devin Gray being safe targets. Maybe the recent signing of E.J. Perry answers these quarterback questions that we so often have with this Michigan Panthers team. Even with a former Super Bowl champion, Breeland Speaks, this defense is still missing something on the other side of the ball as well. They have a lot of raw talent, that's for sure. And if anybody can win with his defense in this league, I'd say Mike Nolan would be number 1 on my list. The Panthers have a lot of names from schools that don't get as much recognition, like Rondell Carter of James Madison, that I'd like to see do well to get their roots, as well as some recognition at the UFL for these smaller name schools.
Bob Stoops is back in spring football, and so is Luis Perez, just two staples of the spring leagues. But this 4-6 team that won the title in the XFL doesn't look like they're going to be favorites this year. They have Marquette King and Vic Beasley are big time NFL name guys who will bring star power to the team, but the skill position guys seem to be lacking in my opinion. I think they will hold them back as a team. Also, I would like to see Lindsey Scott be the QB1. I thought he was phenomenal for Incarnate Word at the FCS level and is a good young QB who could really use this league to jumpstart a professional career for himself. With no disrespect to Luis Perez, we all know what he is at this stage in his career, which is a solid spring league quarterback and a guy who's at best a practice squad body and a good, just overall dude. I said the same thing last year about the Renegades. I wasn't high on them, and then they went to win it all. So maybe I'm wrong again. But right now, I think they're looking into the playoffs and they need to make and figure out some things if they're going to make a run like they did last year.
Number 4 spot, we have the Houston Roughnecks, looking to get rough after beating out the competition in the preseason. That's right, I'm talking about the Gamblers. Who wants to be a gambler when you can drill, baby, drill? The Roughnecks' highlight last season was their defense, and we believe that will be the case here yet again, just with some different names at the wheel, with Reuben Foster being the frontman in my personal opinion. With former General Bryson Young and former WWE Next Up program participant Glenn Logan helping set the tone, the Roughnecks are a defensive powerhouse that will only need a game-managing offense that plays for time of possession and prioritizes limiting mistakes in order to enable success. Something that Coach Curtis Johnson is no stranger to, after having weathered the shaky storm of quarterback play with the Gamblers last year.
And before we get to number 3, guys, like and subscribe. We appreciate all the support and success recently with the channel. You guys have been amazing, and we appreciate everything. So please like and subscribe because we need that love, and I can talk about Ray Shadowlands and all that crazy stuff, and really annoy you so you can skip to those parts of the videos. But let's get back to number 3, the DC Defenders. The Defenders come up just short, just like in the XFL season. And the reason for them getting 3rd on this list is, in my opinion, the QB position. With Jordan Tiamu and Derike King uncertain if they are going to be back next year, we don't really know. They're not officially on the roster. They haven't officially said no. So we're going to go ahead and pretend that they're not. They did draft DeAndre Francois and Jalen McClellan, who leave a lot to be desired. They're good, solid, I guess, at best, spring league quarterbacks. They're not terrible, but they're not what they had last year. And I do love the rest of the roster, though. I like returning stars like Abram Smith, who, in my opinion, was the best running back in the XFL and could easily have been the XFL MVP. You have Reggie Northrup, who is an amazing linebacker and has that funny moment in his time in the USFL with the fake cigarette. Even add some fun names in the draft like Trent Harris, who was a monster for the Roughnecks, Boogie Roberts, a USFL fan legend, to both help the defense side of the ball. I think the defense will be good again, and the offense should be able to run the ball, but if they don't either get a return of a former QB or sign a different QB once the NFL season ends, I think DC will be doomed to repeat their fate as a runner-up and come up short in the UFL. Last thing I want to add is Reggie Barlow is a great coach and should be getting the best out of this team again. And I hope he gets a shot at the next level because the dude is legit.
And coming in at number 2, the last one I'm going to be covering here is the Memphis Showboats, coming in second after having secured the bag at quarterback in Case Cookus and surrounding him with the returning talent Derek Dillon, as well as a few faces at receiver in David Davis and former New Orleans Breaker Lee Morris. This offense will specialize in speed and utilize Cookus' above-average vision and mobility to keep defenses on their toes. John DeFilippo's offensive flow will pair well with the players he has to game plan around, and I have very high expectations for this side of the ball. The defense brings in SHSU legend PJ Hall and anchors him down with as secure a linebacker core you can get with Vontae Diggs and Dylan Moses. With the XFL being more of a defensive highlighted league and the USFL being a more offensive one, the combination of the two leagues will be quite interesting. But the Showboats are a team that has secured up both sides of that ball, so that volatility will not affect them as much, earning them the 2 spot.
No one should be surprised that the Stallions have topped the list, especially considering that they have won back-to-back USFL titles and basically have gotten to add to the band with the merger draft. With returners like Jamar Smith at QB, Deion Kane, Jason Sternberger at tight end, all elite. Scooby Wright, the soul of the defense, and then Bo Scarborough, everyone's favorite running back from Alabama. They even added some ballers in the merger draft from free agency with Channing Stribling, who's just an elite corner in the spring league game, Kenny Robinson, who has had XFL stints in the past and NFL stints, Mark Gilbert, who was elite for the Maulers last year, and then Carlo Kemp. And they even returned year one star Victor Bolden Jr., which is just fun and adds another level to this offense that has a lot of good returning threats. I think chemistry and talent give them the top spot. And having Smith as the leader with Adrian Martinez behind him, learning and having the ability to get a chance with his ability as a dual threat and kind of fill that Alex Magoo role in year one as the kind of the dual threat quarterback in the tandem. Unless a big time QB gets signed by another team in the future, then the Stallions should be the favorites in this new league. And I just see a three-peat on the horizon. The team is legit, the coaching staff is legit, and the players are talented, and they are the best spring league has to offer. Do you agree with us, disagree with us? Let us know in the comments down below. And until next time, please make sure to like and subscribe.